What is going on, traders? Welcome to this week's Forex forecast and trade setups video. Here I'm going to be showing you my outlook on the market, what specific pairs currently have my interest, and if you guys stick to the end, as my way of saying thanks, I'm going to be showing you a trade setup that I believe has the potential to move over 1,000 pips. I'm going to be showing you the exact entry that I'm going to be looking for so you can follow along as well. It's a truly set and forget kind of trade. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to Price Action Nation, where we help you go from indicator overload and analysis paralysis to finally trading with clarity and confidence. Here we focus on helping traders become independently profitable by focusing on pure price action. So if you're new, please support the channel and consider subscribing. We're going to kick off this week's video by diving into the dollar CAD. This is a 60-minute chart. If we look back to the very beginning of February, you're going to see we had this pretty nice impulsive wave to the upside, a lot of aggressiveness coming on the way up here as such. Ever since then, the market's been moving very correctively, and I'm still expecting, in fact, last week I was looking to get in long here. We had the nice bump up, very nice. Although we haven't had the big aggressive follow-up move as we're expecting, that is still what I'm holding out for. I'm going to be ignoring any shorts for the time being and keeping my eye out for the longs. Euro yen 4-hour chart. Ever since the beginning of the year, price has been correctively moving up and up and up and up. Okay, more or less sideways, pretty horizontal movement by nature. And we're now getting into a very interesting level as we start to approach these highs. Okay, so any additional upside you could look to take on the very short term, if you want to go down to smaller time frames, it is appearing as if this will continue to head higher. In fact, I happened to miss a move on a smaller time frame. I was looking to kind of exploit a lot of the short-term bullish strength. So you could consider doing that, a move like that up to the top of that range. However, once you get up there, that's going to be a very short-lived trade. Look to take your profits off, certainly move your stop loss to protect yourself. But once we get up into this territory up and around here, this is where I'm going to be keeping my eye out for those shorts and keeping an eye out for the bears to come step back in, because that's where I see a lot more potential being to the downside. Euro Kiwi daily. For those of you that have been following the forecast and setups video over the last couple of weeks, you know that this Euro Kiwi has been one of high interest that we've been keeping on the radar. In fact, myself, along with many of our traders, both here as well as here, took advantage of this, riding this up for a few hundred pips in both scenarios. We didn't get the big wave as we were expecting. They were still very, very nice, profitable trades. However, it does appear as if this market is the gift that keeps on giving. At least it's certainly giving us more than one opportunity to get back into this. The downside is something that currently for myself I'll be ignoring and looking for the next opportunities to get back in long for all that upside potential that this market currently has available. Euro Aussie 1-hour chart. As it stands right now, the Euro Aussie is setting up. I am expecting the next leg up higher. Now in this case, I'm looking for these highs currently right here to be taken out, at least tested. And when these highs right here get tested or breached, I'd be looking to take some profit off the table, because there is a good likelihood once these highs get breached and the stops that are sitting up here taken out, we could see a reversal back to the downside. For those of you that have been following both on the Telegram and on the YouTube channel, you're going to know that the Euro Aussie, last week we had a fantastic setup. Let me go ahead and show you the before shot. As you can see here, posted Euro Australian dollar 60-minute chart as this price was coming down, anticipating this next wave up. Of course, as you can see, we did get that really strong move as expected. I know there were at least a few of my traders that were able to get in on this and took advantage of the multi-hundred pip run up that this gave, and hopefully this week we'll see more of the same. Pound franc, this is a 1-hour chart. Last week, as expected, this did continue to come up, broke out of this structure. just as planned. It is still in a move to the upside. So as for now, I'm going to be holding off, really ignoring any additional upside because I see it being limited. We certainly could continue to see this go higher. The pound, it's not uncommon for these pound pairs to carry with them a lot of volatility. So we could see ongoing residual continuation of the upside. It certainly looks like there's a lot of strength left in this pair. However, let me zoom out and show you the bigger picture, what I'm looking at there. Alright, so here's a 4-hour chart. As you can see, we had this big strong move up. Let me get that deleted. Big strong move up, correction, next wave to the upside. As we go to the daily chart, now that these highs have been taken out, and actually these highs over here, now that they've been tested and on their way to be taken out, this could drop at any moment. And so that's why currently the upside is not currently to the upside, it's actually to the downside. And so I'm going to be keeping an eye out on the smaller time frames, waiting for those bears to come stepping back in and looking for trade setups to go short. Here's a look at the pound franc on the daily chart. And like I said, we could see the next wave down anywhere currently. Could happen any moment here, or price could continue to go higher and higher and higher. However, like I said, for me, I'm going to be ignoring any upside and keeping my eye out, being sensitive on the lookout for the downside. This is going to be a really nice wave that you're not going to want to miss. Aussie CAD daily chart. This one's setting up really nicely on the daily here for a considerable move to the upside. Once price is able to break out of this correction here, I do see this heading up, back up, breaching these highs and probably tagging this 9,800 handle. Now, one thing that I would be paying attention to right now, you don't want to be getting in. Either wait for this to break out and correct outside of the structure, or you could take an aggressive entry if price gives it to you as it comes back down to here, especially if we see price come back down and take out these lows here. I would really be paying attention to getting in long for that kind of opportunity as this thing gears up for the next wave up. Pound CAD daily. This is another one that's been on our radar for several weeks now. In fact, back here when price came up to these highs, myself along with many of our traders were getting in short, riding this wave down, expecting or at least holding out for these prior lows to get taken out, for price to break outside of this range and continue lower. We did not get the lower move. It actually was compliant with the structure, moved back up. We were looking to get back in from the top of this move again, riding it back down as well, bagging hundreds of pips along the way. That was also not the ongoing sustained move down like we were looking for. Price is now finding itself back up. We're now back in these familiar highs. I do see this as having still some room to the upside. Okay, now the upside is certainly not what we're trying to aim for here, so we're just going to ignore any additional upside for the time being and really be keenly aware of the short potential that this has to the downside. So anything around current price, around 7,500 or north of that 7,500 handle, don't be, surprised, shocked, or alarmed if price does find itself coming up higher and higher and higher, taking out these highs and just setting up at it for an even better price point for the shorts to the downside. So even if we just come back down to the bottom of this range here, you're looking at about, what is that? 7,600 down to 6,900. There's 700 pips right there. Now I am expecting this. I don't know if it's going to be on this wave or the next, but eventually this is going to break out and tag these lows, if not break new lows, which, you guys, that's over a 1,000 pip move. So this is one certainly worth keeping high on the radar, keeping an eye out on, and looking for ways to methodically get in. Dollar yen 4-hour chart, I am expecting downside on this. Price has been so slow and hesitant in its efforts to move up and up and up. Very, very sideways, very unassuming in nature as it's continued to just plod along. And almost lulling the market participants to sleep, if you will. So don't get caught off guard. Definitely keep, in my opinion, dollar yen's another one worth keeping on the radar. I'm going to be scouting out and keeping an eye out for this next downward move. At least that's what I'm expecting. Until the structure in the market changes, that's what we're going to be expecting. So keep an eye out. We could see this. Who knows if it'll take off from where it is? That's always a possibility. However, I do expect this to come up higher for another leg up before the bigger down move. UK oil, this is a daily chart. We're really zoomed out to give you guys some context going back all the way to 2016. You can see this very established trend line, which was shattered on the way down, absolutely obliterated. In fact, on its way down and in breaking, you saw the immediate retest before the continuation of the downside. Well, now we're seeing a larger level retest of this area and an aggressive fall from that area as well. In fact, it really just goes to show the power or the significance the rhetoric of one individual can hold in Donald Trump. I believe his remarks, was it yesterday on oil, making the comment that oil prices were too high, and you could see the reaction, the aggressive reaction the market had in light of that. So this is an area where I would be favoring shorts on oil. As I see it, this is merely, all of this through here is merely a correction of this larger big macro impulsive wave to the downside, and we're going to want to be careful looking to get into any longs here. That's why these big picture macro views of what's going on is so vitally important, because you can really get caught up in the weeds on the smaller time frames that get into precarious situations if you're not careful. So for me, downside on oil is what I'm going to be favoring. Here we are down on a 1 hour chart on oil, and you can already see, as you guys could see on the daily, the very aggressive reaction from that level, and so far price has just been moving very correctively back up and setting itself up for a really nice short position as we continue to make lower lows. So bearish on the oil. Copper daily. Copper's at an interesting level right now where I'm actually favoring shorts. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for those. Although price could continue to creep its way higher and higher and higher, the inevitable next drop will happen. It's just a matter of when. So because we don't know exactly when that's going to be, well, you're actually already starting to see signs of rejection on the daily right up at these levels. However, it's not going to be unrealistic if we see price come back up and retest some of these strong, significant areas of support, which, as you can see, also line up. We've got some fantastic confluence in the form of that natural psych level, the $3 handle, as well as lining up with some beautiful confluence marrying with the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level. So with these areas of confluence, which we're approaching here, price not being that far away, if you see price continue to come up here, you could really start looking to scale in with some limited risk for some downside, just because of how great the risk to reward is on a trade like this. So on copper, downside. And the moment you've been waiting for, the Aussie Kiwi. This is a 4 hour chart. You guys, this is the trade I mentioned at the very beginning you've been sticking around and waiting for. There's some serious upside here. If you've been following my weekly Forex forecast and trade setups video, you know the Aussie Kiwi is something that I'm long-term bullish on. I'm already in a position right now holding for the long term, but I'm looking for opportunities to add to that position, and I will be looking to add if price is able to get back down to this 103 handle. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm simply explaining what I'm going to be doing. I've got a limit order down here at 103, and I see anything at 103 and below as a tremendous play on value to consider getting in for a trade like this with the tremendous upside that lays ahead. So we've got this nice structure price has been compliant with going all the way back to the end of January. It does look as if price is going to be setting up for the next leg to drop. Let that happen. Don't try to exploit that short-term downward move. But as price does get down here, as you can see, 103-ish area, that's where I'd be looking at that major psych level and the bottom of this support to look to build a position for this for the long term. Now, if you don't have the patience, I wouldn't recommend doing this. You're going to want to carry more of an investor's mindset with a trade like this. Well, if you're asking why, here's the reason why. If you zoom out to a daily chart on the Aussie Kiwi, there's a lot of potential to the upside for this to go. Okay, you guys see that? Back up here to this 114 handle is not asking much for this to go. And for a pair like the Aussie Kiwi, which already doesn't move as much as it is, in fact, if you lined up all the currency pairs, this one's going to be one of the most docile, slowest moving pairs just because of the correlation between the Aussie and the Kiwi dollar. However, getting in down here at this 103 handle, if that happens, and we see price come back up to the 114 handle, that's another 1,000 plus pip move potential there. So can you see how that might be worthwhile, and how having patience is going to be what's going to pay? Like the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett has said, the financial markets are nothing more than a mechanism of transferring wealth from those who are impatient to those who are patient. So be patient, my friends, and let's see what we can do. Question of the day. Are you guys sick and tired of the endless holy grail questing with indicators, signal services, and so-called educational gurus? My invitation to you is learn to see trades just like these before they happen. Embark on a discernible shift that's going to come about in your own trading only by learning how to read the real language of the markets, which is pure price action. That's exactly what you're going to get on this channel. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired in your own trading, join our Telegram channel. It's 100% free. There I'm dropping and posting trade ideas, updates, before and afters. We're posting videos just like this one so you guys can stay in the loop, and without it costing you a penny, start to see a discernible shift in your own trading. That's going to do it for this week's Forex forecast and trade setups video. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Hope to see you in the next video, and until next time, best of luck in your trading.